What's going on, guys? So in today's video, I want to go over exactly how Catholic men can lose 30 to 40 pounds in only 4 months by leveraging Catholic community and not breaking the bank. So as a note, this is not for women. This is not for Protestants. And this also isn't for Catholic men who are indecisive and kind of drifting through life. So instead, this is kind of for Catholic men who are generally aware of fitness and the basics of health and fitness. They're just wanting to take it to the next level. And really what they want is to be part of the best Catholic community on the planet because they know you become who you surround yourself with. Now, you've probably tried to be healthy. Because you're Catholic, you want to treat your body like a temple. But the things you've tried have failed. Going to the gym on your own or buying other programs, doing home workouts. Maybe you've even tried an online coaching program, but it's failed. And it's failed because you don't share the values with the other men. They don't all experience what it's like to be a traditional Catholic in today's culture. Okay, and you might also even separate fitness from the rest of your life. You might think, well, fitness is just one area, modulated, isolated, that I just have to move more and eat less. And yeah, it's completely separate from your faith and your community. I used to think that too. But it wasn't until I got around high-level Catholic self-developed men that I got into the best shape of my life. And I'm going to explain exactly why that is and how it's going to work for you too, even though you might not think so right now. Because you're probably just like my client Jonathan. Jonathan was 280 pounds, did not have a good community of Catholic men, and then joined, lost 40 pounds in 4 months, completely developed his spiritual life, and is now discerning the priesthood. So there's no reason Jonathan is different than you, and it'll work for you too. Now, before I dive right into it, you're probably wondering who I am. So here's a quick little highlight reel of who I am and of what I've done and why you should listen to me. So I've helped hundreds of Catholic men as an online fitness coach, and I built an online community of over 100 traditional Catholic men who want to practice what they preach and want to preach the gospel by the way they live their life. I'm also an NPC physique competitor and currently transitioning to men's classic, and I've placed in men's shows in Wisconsin. And from a more personal standpoint, I discerned with the Dominican friars. I definitely went down the rabbit hole, so to speak, of the faith and learned a lot about it. And I even told my college that I was at, I went to Marquette, and I told them I was dropping out to join the novitiate. But I felt a call towards this mission, and so here we are. Now, I talked to my vocation director. I made the choice to start this ministry. I work closely with the Capuchins and their support, and this has blossomed into a beautiful thing. So that is why you should listen to me. Now, I want to go into kind of why I believe this is true, how you can leverage Catholic community without breaking the bank, and how to lose as much weight or get as most muscle as you want. So first and foremost, let's talk about kind of the path of a Catholic man, because now I've helped over 100 Catholic men, and I've learned kind of the secret to where they're at. So we kind of have this path that Catholic men follow. It starts off as kind of like a lost Catholic man. You always go the safe route. You don't like how you look. Maybe you're uncomfortable in social situations. You're studying the faith not because you feel called to it, almost like a theologian or a friar whose charism is leaning towards like study and preaching, like the Dominicans, for example. No, you do it because you want to avoid the problems in your life that require a lot of work, and instead you go and study the faith as a crutch. And then maybe dating is subpar. You don't do well with the ladies, to put it bluntly. So then, through this process, this framework I'm going to lay out, you become a searching Catholic man, what I would call it. You know there's a higher calling for you, a higher level, so to speak, and you're trying to get there. You're figuring out how to get there. This is when you start taking your health very seriously. You learn how to go outside of your comfort zone. You want to be better socially, even if you're not there 100% yet. You don't know where you want to be. You know where you want to be. You just don't know how to get there yet. And you're starting to realize you're meant for more. God's calling you to something. Okay, now, as this path continues and you work on yourself more and more, and you follow the framework I lay out, you eventually become an aligned Catholic man. So an aligned Catholic man means his desires, what God wants him to do, is aligned with his life. So he is continually unfolding into reality a worthy goal. What he wants is continually realizing, actualizing. Okay, so that would mean you are in great shape. You've monetized your passion and love what you do. You didn't just do what's expected and work as a widget maker at a widget factory because that's what your dad told you to do. You followed what God called you to. You never miss on your habits. You're friends with winners. What I mean by that is your friends are also continually unfolding a reality that they desire. You have no issues with dating, and you have courage, the most sought after and sparse virtue found in today's Catholic men. So this is the path, and my argument is that if you stick with me and you follow the framework I lay out, this will be you, 100%. All right, let's get into it. So there's one key thing that I want you guys to be aware of, and this is why you have been failing on your fitness goals. I'm going to put myself up here. So the biggest thing is that you become who you surround yourself with. And this is a fact about life. So it's the single biggest impact in your life. If you become best friends with millionaires, you will become a millionaire. Now, a lot of you guys are hanging out with Catholics, which is good. But I need to ask you, are you hanging out with the right type of Catholics? If you become who you surround yourself with, and you have a desire to be in shape, and you know the biggest impact is to be around people that have the thing you want because you become who you surround yourself with, are you friends with people who are in shape? Or are most of your friends kind of skinny fat, kind of average? Well, then there's no reason to think you would break that. You would just conform because humans have a strong tendency to conform to their social group. So what kind of Catholics are they? Are they where you want to be in 10 years? Or are they dudes from your parish that just go to young adult events? Be honest. You might think this doesn't play a big role, and I used to think that too. And it wasn't until I got around people that had the goal I wanted that I saw the power. I didn't get in really great shape until I got around bodybuilders, started becoming friends with them. I didn't get a successful business until I started hanging out with successful businessmen, paying to get in the room with millionaires. Honestly, it's just like my client Jacob, who, he was struggling connecting with the good Catholic community. He wasn't around the best people. And then he joined ours, and he immediately started seeing the effects because just from a high level, any community you join, you want to conform. You want to be like them because you don't want social ostracization. That's what the whole left's mission is banked on: cancellation, fear, right? Social ostracization. So we don't want that. We want to conform to the group. So if you get around a group of really highly developed Catholic men, you will become like them. And that is the secret. So now you know the secret to all your problems as a Catholic man. Isn't that awesome? Now, let's go over kind of the process. And before I go on, I do want to note, who should get your time? This is the key. Who gets your time? It's the most valuable asset. It's the one thing we can't get back, and it impacts your life tremendously. So ask yourself, who gets your time? It should be men who have the thing you want, that are ahead of you, and that share your values. So here's the framework. It's pretty straightforward. First and foremost, figure out what you desire. Maybe you want $50K for a down payment. Maybe you want to lose 20 pounds. Maybe you want 17-inch biceps, whatever it is. Figure out what you want. Then get around people that have done what you wanted, they have what you want, or they've helped people like you get what you want. That's very important. So if you want to lose 20 pounds, get around someone who's lost 20 pounds, or even better, get around someone who has helped people just like you lose 20 pounds over and over. Just because someone has done something doesn't mean they're a great teacher. Number 3, join their friend group. Become their community. Assimilate with them. Share your time with them. And then watch yourself change. Guys, this is what I do. I consistently try to get in rooms with higher level people. I'm trying to get, I pay to get in the rooms with successful Catholic influencers, successful bishops, Kansas City Chief kickers. I really push myself to get around people that are where I want to be. So you do the same and you'll watch yourself change and you'll watch yourself grow. All right, so I'm telling you guys, this is exponentially better than anything you've ever tried because you literally have never experienced a higher level community. And you might say like, well, yeah, but what about like the meal plan and the workout plan and the fitness? We teach you all that. But why hasn't that worked? You could go on ChatGPT and figure out what you're supposed to eat and work out. Why doesn't it work? It's because of this. You don't have the framework, you're not around high level people, and so you don't change. All right. Now with that, with talking about the meal plan and the workout plan, there is one point that I do want to mention, which is, I'll put myself here, which is you need a meal plan that works for you. Guys, I'm just going to be honest, 80% of health is your diet. Now people don't like the word diet, so we try a bunch of crazy things. We try missing 2 meals and eating 1 meal a day. Try fasting, try keto, try carnivore, try all these fad diets. And how does that work for you? Well, you're watching this video, there's a good chance it doesn't work for you. So you've probably tried to starve yourself, probably tried crazy trends, and at the end of the day, what I see is it makes an unhealthy relationship with food. So I don't want you to do that. I want you to have a good relationship with food, get the body of your dreams, okay? And again, Jacob, I talked about him earlier. He had the same thing. He would try to starve himself and only eat 1 meal a day. Once I got him on the proper meal plan that worked for him, that was easy to fit in his schedule, didn't have to cook a lot because he wasn't much of a cooker, he got in the best shape of his life. I mean, look at this transformation. This was 4 months. You can completely change your life, okay? Those are the 2 things that I want to go over with you. And without these 2 things, you're going to continue to have a body that isn't treated like a temple. And your friends and family will see that. Your children will see that. When the priest dismisses us for Mass and says the Mass is ended, go and preach the gospel by the way we live our lives, we're not going to be able to genuinely do that if we're extremely overweight. And we know that. So instead, you should invest in yourself and make these changes. All right. Now, so the question is, are you going to change? Are you going to change your life for good and get around people who force you to be better? Or are you going to stay stagnant and stay with people that make you comfortable? Remember what Pope Benedict said, we're not made for comfort, we're made for greatness. Now you might be asking yourself, is this a good investment for a Catholic man? Now, investment means it's going to require some type of skin in the game on your end. And you might think that never paying for anything is good, it's safe. But I'll be honest with you guys, the people that put the most amount of skin in the game, where it means something, where they really have to fork up an investment that, is serious, they see the best results, right? And that makes sense. You put skin in the game. It's meaning something to you. If my program was only $5 a month, I don't know if you'd take it as seriously and completely change your life. I don't think if you would heed the priest's advice in the coaching calls. I don't think you'd heed the priest's advice in the spiritual calls or the advice in my coaching calls, right? No. So it's good if you put skin in the game. Now, you also might think that it's a lot of money. You might not, but you might. And it might be. It might be in the interim. But remember, I said this is done without breaking the bank, because if you think about it from a high level, it's relatively dirt cheap, no matter how much it is. Because if all it did is get you in the best shape of your life, get you to have the mindset that successful people have, to where you can do the following. You can continually realize things you want into reality, right? If you want to lose 20 pounds, you now have a community and a way to do that. If you want X amount of money in the bank, you can do that. If all it did was that would be worth whatever the program is worth, from a very reasonable standpoint, right? Doesn't that make sense? And let me just be honest with you. Ask yourself, what is money for? What is money good for? And I would argue, we simply vote with our dollars on things that are important to us. That's what we spend money on. For example, I was in Sephora one time, and not alone, I was with someone, and we were going through all of I saw these 2 girls in there, and they were like, 13, 14 years old, and they were trying on makeup. And the makeup lady helping them out was showing them all the different makeups, and the girls were super excited. But then the makeup lady was like, listen, girls, now that you're starting to wear this stuff, you need to budget for this. You need to start preparing to do this. And the girls were like, okay, got it. We will start budgeting. See, because the girls had changed their identity, they have different things that are important to them, and now they are voting with their dollars on the things that are important to them. So that's what money's good for. Whatever your identity says is important to you. Does that make sense? Should make sense. All right. Now, another thing I hear from a lot of Catholic men is, do they have time to change their life? Man, I don't have time to cook. I don't have time to work out. So let's talk about if it's that you don't have time, like it's a busy season of life, right? Well, you want to be healthy your whole life, right? So maybe you'll do this when you're not as busy, right? Well, that means you'll only be fit during the non-busy seasons of life, but you want to be healthy your whole life. So doesn't it make sense to learn how to do this during the busy season? Because that's when you're going to need the most help, right? Right. So if you want to be healthy your whole life, you got to start when it's the busy season. Now, you also might say, well, Joe, yeah, that makes sense, but I don't have time in a day. Like my schedule is booked. And I totally know what you mean. I actually thought that once too. I told my girlfriend, like, I didn't have enough time to do something. And she grabbed my phone, saw how much screen time I had. And she was like, well, I guess I just found you 2.5 hours. So I think if we really look at our day, we can find a lot of time. So yeah, another thing I hear from a lot of Catholic men is that you need to talk to someone about this, which I totally understand. Like when people reach the point of where they want to change their life, they kind of go, well, I need to ask someone. I need to talk to my priest about it, right? I need to ask my wife. I need to talk to my uncle, whoever it is. So what I would say to my Catholic friends and the clients that I have is I try to explain to them, and I'm explaining to you now, that you don't need to seek permission from others in life about your body. It's your body. You need to seek support from your loved ones. Because here's what happens. When we don't believe in ourselves, we go and seek permission from others. That way, the responsibility isn't on us. You see, if they say no, and then we go, well, I want to change my life, but so-and-so said no, well, then we're absolved. It's not on us. We're not taking ownership. We're not taking responsibility. We are not taking power for our own life. So you don't need to talk to anyone about anything involving your body in terms of permission. We simply ask for support from our loved ones. Okay, does that make sense? Hopefully that does. And guys, the final thing I hear from Catholic men is, well, maybe I should pray more about this. This is a big deal. This is going to change my life. I think I should just take more time. Well, let me be honest with you, okay? You have probably reached out to me, or I've reached out to you. We've chatted for a bit. We've set up to have a fitness consultation. I sent over this video. You've watched the video. You've gotten to here. You're 6 inches from gold. If I were to be a betting man, I would guess you don't need more time to think about this. You've been thinking about this probably for months on end because it's been a struggle for a while. And so typically Catholic men that I help, they don't need more time to pray or think about it. They need more information, or they need help committing to a decision. In my experience, that's overwhelmingly the issue. So don't say you need more time to think about it, because what would that mean? Do we sit in a rocking chair and like muse over ideas and we go, well, should I do this? No, that's typically not how we make decisions. What do? We go about our day. We go back to mass. We go to confession. We go to work. We try to go to the gym. Go to our nephew's soccer practice. And then one day we put on pants and they don't fit and we go, damn. And then we made our decision. Okay? So likely we've thought enough about it. Isn't this awesome? I hope this is helpful, guys. So, guys, now that you know really what you need to do to completely change your life, which is to get around men that hold you to a high standard and that share your values, there's really only 2 paths. You can follow the same path that you've been doing. Try to do things at a level you know doesn't work because you've tried it before. Stay around the same people. Don't have goals. Don't learn how to habit form. Don't do any of this. Or you can book in a call with me or attend the call that we've already set up, and I'll show you exactly how so many Catholic men just like you achieve their dreams. So you can stop stagnating so we can grow as God calls us to do. So if you haven't booked a call already, go ahead and click the link below, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much, and God bless.